Hey guys, and welcome back to Regretsit, Brexit, England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And this is all about profits, 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 profits. Whether Michael, Jesus, Mohammed, or Donald. And you're probably thinking, who the hell is Michael? Michael Prophet, man. But then you probably wouldn't know him unless you're into reggae music. And you're thinking, who, Donald? Well, all his supporters believe that he's somehow been sent by God after God first sent like Jesus. I think, well, and then he's getting out of all the people in the world, right? You think God would have said, you know what? Yeah, this is my son that I'm sending, to Donald. Just I don't, I don't understand that at all. Anyway, look, we're here to speak about profits. Profits, profits, profits. All from these. Let's start with BP. Once owned by the people of this country. BP owned by the people of this country. Somehow it's managed to be sold off. Right now, I'm telling you, I know how it was sold off because these people always say to you, you know something, yeah? What we're going to do for you is we're going to get rid of all the blacks and all the bloody Asians, right? And then, right, we're just going to have this country like it was back in the 1940s. Postcard. And then they sell off something like BP. Sell it off. Well, obviously in this time of real crisis, right? BP obviously helping us out, helping out the world, right? So that's why they're putting in for the first quarter of this year 5 billion in profits, up on any numbers that they've ever had before, up. Because you know why? Because they're just profiteering. Because the English are, the British are so fucking thick, right? To allow the government to do these type of things to you. I mean, you're talking about a government who once said to the people of this country, you know something, right? What we're going to do is we're going to sell off all the council houses, right? And then we're going to instruct the government not to build any council houses. Local councils not allowed to build it. You can't take that money and build any houses with it. Because they knew, you know what, if we could just rely on the selfishness of the people in this country, because you know what, our politics in this country is all about hating your next door neighbour. You know what, I despise them. I hate them with passion, right? Can't stand them, right? I can't even bear to look at them. That's what this politics in this country is built on. It's all built, right, on hating the people in your local area. Look at them, right? Why should they get a council? You've got people who will be sat in council houses themselves and say, well, why should they get a council house? Or you've got people who will buy a house and think, so, well, why should they get a council house? I had to buy mine. Because you've been forced into buying your house. Right? Because you know why? Because they've sold off all the council properties and they wouldn't build anymore. So as a result, right, so much people had to buy their houses, and they've relied on that selfish nature of the English to do that absolute selfish, right? Hate thy neighbour, can't stand thy neighbour with a passion, would like to choke them if I could get the chance. Right? But something like, BP that used to belong to this country, people of this country, and they've said to you, oh no, it's better off in the hands of private people so that they can take all the profits out. Why should the people of this country get all the profits? That's how these people have been dealing with you for so long, right? BP, right? £20 billion in profits. BT is putting in £20 billion in profits in 2022. 20 billion. Say what? Yeah, another one that they sold off. It used to belong to the people of this country. Right, or we could move over to the banks, right? The banks, 80 billion between them, 80 billion in profits. That's what they're going to make this year in profits, while they're chasing after you and they've put your mortgage up. Right, an extra £500, 700, 1,000, 1,200 gone on top of your mortgage. Right, they're chasing you down. Right, but you've got things like the NatWest, 4.2 billion in profits, more profits than it ever made before. just profiteering off the back of the people of this country and just laughing in our faces. And not that Sid James laugh. Yeah. No. They're doing that laugh they've got is that's a belly laugh. Sid James laugh is there. It's in the throat. Right? They need a belly laugh for how they're taking the piss and how they're allowed to get away with it. Right? You've got, people in, I think it was Shell, who said, something, we're making so much money, we're just like a cash machine, we're just rolling it in, right? When they've got your utility costs doubled, and these people are putting in huge profits. The water companies, there's a £60 billion hole, right? That they owe, right? They've taken that money and they've spread it out amongst themselves, amongst their shareholders and amongst the management. Right? This is all the water companies, right? This is the money, and the infrastructure is falling. It's still fucking Victorian, and these people, right, have allowed them to do these things. But you see, when you see politicians and they say, "Oh, well, we'd like you to work for us," I said, "Yeah, well, it'll cost you 10 grand a day." That's when you know that you're already being sold out. Because, when you're paying someone 10 grand a day, right, then you know something, that person's going to do some real shit for you. They're going to do some proper stuff. Whatever you need them to do, they're going to do it. Right. So if that means, right, that all these big business companies, right, were allowed to just profiteer on the back of us, then so be it. I mean, if you just, all you have to do, is just look at the airports. When you drop someone off, right, they charge you £5 to drop someone off. So how the fuck can you get away with that? But oh no, they get away with it because we've got politicians who never care about the people in it. They have never cared. They will never care about the people in this country. That's why they're allowed to say, you know what? If you're dropping someone off at the airport, we want £5 of your good money. What, for dropping someone off? Seriously? Yeah, for dropping someone off. And they're saying it with a straight face. And if you don't fucking pay it, then they send you an £80 fine. Right? And there's no, oh, I forgot to pay it. No, you get the fine. That's it. These people, right, these businesses have been allowed to just take the absolute piss out of us and just laugh in our face. And then you've got all these rich presenters on the TV or on the radio convincing, right, the uneducated English, right, that you know something, all of these companies that are making huge amounts of profits, right, out of our money, right, money that should be, guys, just circulated around in our economy, right, all the train line money, right, the liberty they've taken, right, to sell off all the hospital car parks. I mean, how the fuck have you got into that situation? You can't even, the working classes cannot even run a business in this country. It is too expensive for the working classes to run a business in this country. Right? One guy, I heard him come on the radio and say, you know what, he needed CO2, right, for his business, and it's gone up from, I think, £35 a tonne to £160 a tonne. He's had to close the business down. You have got company after company in this country that have gone bankrupt. Thousands of them that have gone bankrupt, right? Look on our high streets. Our high streets, right, have got so many empty shops because they cannot afford to run a business in this country. But yet for all, right, all of the big boys, right, are just profiteering off of us, right, with all the stuff that we actually need. You've got people in this country who haven't had gas or electric in their house for over a year, living off of candles, right? Having cold showers and a cold bath. That's the state of this country. That's the state of what these people have done to this country, and still they allow companies that we once used to own to just take the piss out of us right in our face and just laugh at us. Right? They might as well just hold us, just do a big fart under a blanket and just hold our head under there. Because that's how much they're just taking the piss out of us, right? It is just unbelievable what these people have been allowed to do in this country. I mean, if you just, all you have to do is just look in the NHS. They've got, you've got private companies running ambulance services, or or you look at the prison service, for example, right? They've taken it away from the police, right, and given it to Group 4 or whoever it is, well, whichever one it is, they've given it to them, right? But who do you think's paying for it? Who do you think pays for it? So all those experienced police officers used to, they've got rid of all of them, right? And now they're paying another company to do it. So they've got to pay this company millions and millions of pounds to do it, hundreds of millions of pounds to do it. In the same way that all these train lines and all these things, they're all subsidised. If you look at how much money someone like Richard Branson has had from the British taxpayer, you'd be like, wow, this motherfucker lives on his own island, right? But yet for all, he's extracting hundreds of millions of pounds from the British taxpayer on a yearly basis. Right? This whole thing is a complete joke. And our government, right, has governments after governments, we have never ever elected a government that's there for our interest. Never ever. Right? The only time they allow someone to be in power in this country is as long as they're going to toe the line that needs to be told. Okay? Because remember, all of our assets that were sold off, they were sold off, right, with consent of the royal family, because they have to sign everything off, right? Even when they decided we're gonna sell the motherfucking Royal Mail, the Queen should have been like, well, hold on a minute, it's Royal Mail, you can't fucking sell that. But oh no, just signed it all off. Not, knowing that that's the people's money. Sign it off. Fuck them. Anyway, guys, look. I didn't expect this profits video to be this long, to be honest, but it seems like I had quite a bit to say about profits. My friends, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys, and it is a Saturday, so have a great weekend, and I will see you Monday.